This is Jinbe, the Knight of the Sea, the newest member of the Straw Hat Pirates. He's the most reliable guy on the crew, and now that he's here, the Straw Hats are unstoppable. Or at least, that's what they want you to think. But what if I told you that was a complete lie? What if Oda has been playing the long game, setting up not a happy ending for Jinbe, but the biggest misdirection in anime history? This isn't just about if Jinbe could die. I'm about to show you an insane theory from my friend Mr. Bushido that proves his character arc, his history, and his job on the crew all point to one unavoidable conclusion. This is the theory that Jinbe is going to die, and his sacrifice will be the single biggest moment in One Piece history that forges Luffy into the Pirate King. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oda doesn't kill characters. People have been saying a Straw Hat would die for decades, but it's usually just rumors. Oda himself said he hates killing characters and wants to draw a huge party at the end. So a Straw Hat dying sounds impossible, right? Wrong. There are still so many things about Jinbe that make zero sense. He's both a perfect fit and a total outsider. He's the expert helmsman guiding the future Pirate King, but being this perfect might be the biggest red flag of all. In a story about chasing impossible dreams, Jinbe showed up when his own journey was already over. When you really look at Jinbe's journey, something feels different. His story feels complete. There are unanswered questions surrounding Big Mom, and his role in the Final Saga is starting to worry me. Okay, first things first. To understand why Jinbe is almost guaranteed to die, you have to look at the other Straw Hats. Every single one of them, from Zoro to Brook, has an insane, almost impossible dream. Zoro wants to be the world's strongest swordsman. Nami wants to draw a map of the entire world. Sanji is looking for the All Blue. These are personal quests that can only be completed by going with Luffy to the end of the Grand Line. Their stories grow with Luffy. Now look at Jinbe. He's already a legend, a former warlord, a master of fishman karate, the guy who literally pulled Luffy out of his depression. But that's the issue. He's basically a finished character. So many fans have pointed out that he's the wise old man, the dad of the group, which is a huge contrast to the rest of the crew. He doesn't even have any running gags, which might seem small, but it makes him feel completely different from everyone else. And this brings us to the biggest problem, his dream. Jinbe's dream is for fishmen and humans to live together in peace. It's an amazing goal, but here's the core of the theory. His dream is completely different from everyone else's. While the other Straw Hats have to achieve their goals themselves, Zoro has to beat Mihawk, Robin has to find the poneglyphs, Jinbe's dream is something society has to achieve. He doesn't have to do it himself. Even Fisher Tiger said the younger generation would be the ones to change the world. In this theory, Jinbe's job isn't to build the new world. His job is to make sure the person who can, Monkey D. Luffy, gets there safely. His dream is less about him and more about Luffy bringing the dawn. Even in recent arcs, his role has been to support everyone else while others get the big fights. On Egghead, he was giving tactical advice and helping out. Of course, you could say that's his strength, but this theory says it's not an accident. Oda is positioning Jinbe as the foundation, not a character with a long story ahead. And in fiction, the characters who have already done their job are always the first ones to make a heroic sacrifice. But if that didn't convince you, this will. This is the craziest part of the theory, and it comes from the biggest loose end on Whole Cake Island, Big Mom's insane roulette wheel that steals your life. Let's do a super quick recap. To leave Big Mom's crew, you might have to spin a roulette wheel that takes your limbs, your loved ones, or a massive chunk of your lifespan. When Jinbe tried to leave, the wheel came out, but he never spun it. Later, he quit, and Big Mom tried to take his soul, but it failed because Jinbe had zero fear of her. His loyalty to Luffy was stronger than his will to live. Then, he stayed behind with his old crew to fight off Big Mom's entire fleet so the Straw Hats could escape. Luffy's last order was insane. Even if you die, don't die. When Jinbe finally showed up in Wano, he looked totally fine. He said he just had a send-off and came over. On the surface, it looks like he got away with no consequences. No way. It's way too easy. This is where the lifespan theory comes in, and I promise you, this changes everything. The theory is that Jinbe did pay a price, but it happened off-screen. It suggests that to save the Sun Pirates, Jinbe made a deal and spun that roulette wheel after the Straw Hats left. Big Mom's soul-sucking power failed because he wasn't afraid to die for himself. But what if the lives of his entire crew were on the line? The Jinbe we know would sacrifice literally anything for his people, so Jinbe lost a massive chunk of his lifespan in a secret deal with Big Mom. He is literally living on borrowed time. This explains everything. It explains how the Sun Pirates easily could have escaped a Yonko's fleet. It explains the weirdly vague send-off. And it turns Jinbe into the most tragic character in the series, a man with a ticking time bomb on his life, hiding a fatal secret from the very crew he swore to protect. This is just a theory, but it would make Luffy's order, "Don't die," the most ironic line in the whole show. Oda is a master planner, and there is no way he just forgot about the roulette wheel drama. A clean getaway from a Yonko just feels wrong. This secret sacrifice turns him from a lucky guy into a tragic hero. If you're still not convinced, we have even more proof. These are the symbolic death flags that Oda has been planting right in front of our faces for years. First, and this is the biggest one, the missing toast. In One Piece, sharing sake is how you seal a brotherhood. Luffy, Ace, and Sabo did it. It's the official ceremony for every new Straw Hat. Yet for Jinbe, it never happened. Right before the Onigashima raid, the crew was about to give Jinbe his official welcoming toast. But Luffy literally stopped it. He said they'd have a bigger party after they won the war. But that party happened, and we never saw the toast. Instead, Oda gave us one quiet panel of Jinbe raising a cup of sake by himself, while the main party was somewhere else. That is an insane choice. Why put off the toast just to forget it? Storytellers in this theory say it's to keep Jinbe symbolically separate. He's not meant to be at the final party at the end of the series. He's the guardian who gets them there, but he won't get to attend. Second, his job is the helmsman. Jinbe is the best helmsman in the world. His skill is god tier. But what happens when the ship doesn't need a helmsman anymore? Remember the Going Merry? It had a soul, a klabouterman, that literally steered the ship to save them from Eni's lobby. The Merry was a real crew member. So the popular theory is that the Thousand Sunny will also awaken its own spirit. It's made from atom wood, the same legendary material as Goldie Roger's ship. It is 100% going to get a soul too. This theory says that in a moment of crisis, the Sunny's spirit will awaken and take the helm itself to save Luffy. While that sounds awesome, it would make Jinbe's main job completely unnecessary. His ultimate sacrifice would be giving his life, only for the ship he loved to awaken and take his place. We've even seen other people steering the Sunny, like on Egghead. In the context of this theory, it's another sign that the helmsman role isn't Jinbe's forever. And finally, let's talk about Pedro. Pedro sacrificed his life on Whole Cake Island because he believed the Straw Hats would bring the dawn of the world. His death wasn't for nothing. It was necessary for the future. Jinbe has that exact same deep belief in Luffy. We say Jinbe is being set up for the exact same thing, but on a scale a million times bigger. Self-sacrifice is literally part of Jinbe's core character. Pedro's death got them to the next part of the journey. Jinbe's death will be the sacrifice that gets them to the finish line. So why would Oda kill a Straw Hat? A death this big has to mean something, and I'm telling you, it would be the most important death in the entire series. It would be the final, brutal lesson Luffy needs to learn to truly become the Pirate King. When Ace died at Marineford, it was the worst moment in Luffy's life. It taught him he was weak and needed to get stronger to protect his friends. And who pulled him out of that despair? Jinbe. The lesson from Ace's death was about recovering from a hit. The death of Jinbe would be a completely different lesson. It wouldn't be about recovery, it would be about kingship. A king isn't just strong. A king has to carry the weight of the sacrifices made for him. Ace died for his own pride and for Whitebeard, but if Jinbe dies, it would be a direct sacrifice for Luffy. It would be a member of his own crew giving his life so the captain can achieve their dream. This isn't a loss forced on Luffy. It's a cost paid willingly by his own friend.
Just imagine it.
The final war. The Straw Hats are fighting Emu, Blackbeard, or Akainu. The stakes are the highest they have ever been. A fatal blow is coming for Luffy, and in that moment, Jinbe, the ultimate helmsman, steers himself right into the path of the attack. His death wouldn't be a moment of weakness. It would be the ultimate strategic move to protect his king and his ship. A sacrifice like that would skyrocket the stakes of the final war. It would instantly tell every single person watching that no one is safe. The plot armor we all thought they had would be completely shattered. More importantly, it would be Luffy's final transformation. Ace's death made him a stronger fighter. Jinbe's death would make him a king. It would give him a seriousness, the weight of a ruler who understands the true cost of his dream. He'd no longer just be the boy who wants to be the pirate king. He'd be the man who has to bear the sacrifices of his friends to bring a new dawn. It's a tragic but necessary step for the carefree captain to finally accept the burdens of being a king. A death like that would make the rest of the crew carry on his dream of equality. It would become their sacred duty. His death isn't an ending, it's a transference of his will. It would be the heartbreaking moment that proves Jinbe's death would, in fact, change everything. So, there you have it. On one hand, you have the happy ending, where all the Straw Hats make it to Laugh Tale and throw the world's biggest party, with Jinbe standing right next to his captain. On the other hand, you have this insane, heartbreaking theory. A theory built on Jinbe being too perfect. A secret debt paid to Big Mom with his own lifespan, and potent symbols like a toast that never happened and a ship that might take his place. This theory argues that Jinbe's death is a narrative requirement, the catalyst that turns Luffy into a true king by forcing him to understand the weight of sacrifice. It's the one event that would give the final war real stake. Ultimately, only Oda knows what will happen, but the evidence for a tragic ending is woven into Jinbe's entire character. It's a theory that's both devastating and, in a weird way, kind of beautiful. But I want to know what you think. Is Jinbe 100% safe and going to see the end of the journey? Or is Oda setting us all up for one of the biggest heartbreaks in manga history? Let me know your craziest theories in the comments right now. If you enjoyed having your mind blown, like this video, subscribe for more theories, and hit that notification bell, because you do not want to miss what we have next. Thanks for watching.